And your book hits shelves today, Lee.
It does.
Tell us about Persuasion.
I'm so excited about this book. I think it's so needed right now. We live in a time where people aren't having conversations across party lines, where people aren't trying to engage with each other. People are just shouting louder and entrenched into their own ways rather than trying to change hearts and minds. And I think the only way real progress is going to happen if we really engage in conversation. So this is 9 steps on how to create your own persuasion plan.
Well, one of the things I loved about the book was talking about the haters and listening to what the haters say. Tell us about what you mean by that.
You know, I think one of the things, it's so easy for us to dismiss what people say about us in the negative, and you go on Twitter and people say terrible things, but I think sometimes it's really important to listen to what's being said and say, let's get underneath that. Let's really try and understand what's going underneath that, because if you want to change somebody's minds, you need to understand the other side. So for example, if you're a pro-gun control person, you're having a conversation with a Second Amendment supporter, a lot of times what people do is just really dig in their heels and say, you're a terrible person, you don't care about people, rather than trying to understand where the other person is coming from. And once you do, when you really understand the fear that they might be feeling or what they're afraid of, then you can start having a productive conversation and moving the needle.
So how does that relate to social media? Because there is so much animosity spread, for instance, on Twitter. Do you have any advice on how people deal with?
Well, I think to a certain extent, when it gets totally crazy, you have to tune it out and not take it personally. But when you really have to get underneath it, what is going on? What are people really afraid of? Because most of this is driven by fear of change, fear of something that's underneath it. So spend the time to understand it, because you can meet people where they are by having a really empathetic conversation, and then you can start pulling them alongside you.
It's incredible, the sharp differences in opinions in these last couple of years. Congrats on the book.
Thank you so much.
We will keep talking about that and getting more insights from your, and in some cases, personal stories in the book.
That's right.